This is the latest sci-fi, fantasy, and horror news for September 19th, 2018, brought to you by Sci-Clops.com. Let's get right to it, starting with the latest Captain Marvel, or actually the first Captain Marvel trailer, which is really looks exciting. And I'm kind of a big Captain Marvel fan because I've gotten into her after reading the X-Men comic where she merged with Rogue. And just on a quick side note, I was kind of hoping you might see a little bit of that storyline in the background somewhere, some kind of information on that, but I guess we're going to save that for another movie. At any rate, the article we've got here, when you click on the link, you get a kind of a laugh. Why did Captain Marvel punch that old lady in the trailer? And, you can be sure it's not an old lady. I'm just going to go out on a limb there and say it's probably not an old lady. It's probably something really nasty in disguise. But, call me crazy. But I'm guessing that's what's going on here. And do click on that to see if you want. I'm sure it's going to be a little spoiler in there or something, but just be aware if you click on it. And heading right over to fantasy, we've got how much each Game of Thrones episode cost. And I just wanted to let you know I have finished binge watching the entire Game of Thrones series, and I couldn't be happier. It is amazing. It is incredible. I don't think there's a bad actor in the whole thing. I can't rave enough about it. Probably my two favorite characters are the Hound and, well, I got to say my number one favorite character is the Hound. I love him, and I love what's going on with him. He's kind of switching back and forth. I do like what's happening with Sansa too, and I like what she has become. I don't want to give too much away for you people who haven't watched it, all 6 of you out there, but and I like what the Stark girls have become, and the 2 girls playing them. I like those characters, but I really like the Hound. I think he's a blast. At any rate, if you're interested in seeing how much each Game of Thrones episode costs to produce, do click on this, and it's kind of interesting because it does break down the way they do this. And I'm going to go on a limb here too and say expensive, so you can be sure. And of course we're all crossing our fingers and waiting for the latest Game of Thrones to come out. If only they would move on that filming, and who knows what George R.R. Martin is doing right now, but he better get back to writing. At any rate, you horror fans are going to love this news. Original Halloween will be coming back to theaters for one night. And that's really exciting. I'm really looking forward to seeing that. I am going to go to the new one too. And I wanted to check on that date, which I haven't got in front of me. I know it's in, let's see if I can find it real fast for you guys without it taking forever. September 27th is going to be that date. So that's really exciting news. And you can check that out. Go with your friends, dress up in your Michael Myers mask, do whatever. Don't bring any knives, please. And for video game fans, Ubisoft has unveiled a limited edition Assassin's Creed themed Alexa. Pardon me. And this is really neat because if you're a big Assassin's Creed fan, you can see this little Alexa, and it's kind of designed in, Assassin's Creed logo or style. And so you'll get a kick out of that. I know you gamers, and I'm not as big as a gamer as I should be just because of time, but I know the gamers love having stuff that's themed around their favorite games, whether it's Overwatch or Fortnite or whatever. And here you can do it with Assassin's Creed and Alexa if you like the Alexa. IGN has posted their 6 best anime of 2018 so far. And I'm going to be getting back into some anime pretty soon. I've been talking to some people. I'm really hoping One Punch Man Season 2 would get moving, but it's going to be a while. Last I heard on that, by the way, it looks like I think it's 2019, but it's always floating. They're like, well, it's going to be this time or that time, but it depends on whether the writers and the artists all get together and actually pull things off at the speed they're hoping. So we're just going to keep crossing our fingers for One Punch Man Season 19. Quick little hint on some of those, a couple of the 6 best anime of 2018 per IGN. One is, forgive me if I'm saying this wrong, Agretsuko, and another one, A Place Farther Than the Universe. And that's all I'm going to read through right now. You can click the link and check the other ones if you're interested. And what do we got here? This is a cool article because I actually thought about this, and I'm sure all you Star Wars fans have also thought about this. The physics of a Star Wars bomber dropping bombs in space, and that's courtesy of Wired.com. And it's interesting because remember, the Last Jedi, of course, the bombers, the big scene in the opening part of the movie was getting the bombers over the dreadnought to drop the bombs. And of course, this is in space, so bombs technically shouldn't be dropping. But this is Star Wars, and you can't get yourself worked into a lather over it with some physicist standing behind you going, that can't be working. Like, go away, take your cold water and throw it on someone else. But it's just for fun. If you want to look at it, how is this happening? And remember, too, where else did this happen was The Empire Strikes Back, where the TIE bombers were flying over the asteroids trying to shake out Han Solo and crew, and they were dropping bombs there, too. And that was the first time we saw TIE bombers. I remember being in the theater and thinking, those are the coolest things ever! And they were actually dropping bombs, and everybody knew you couldn't drop a bomb in space, but, it's Star Wars, you have a good time. Jumping over to Star Trek Discovery, the new season looks like there's a lot of secrecy around it, and the word is, the rumor mill is they're hiding a massive opening twist. So what could it be? Click on it if you want some possible spoilers about what it could be, and that's coming from radiotimes.com, which is a pretty good little site. I've seen a lot of good stuff coming off that site, radiotimes.com. I just want to remind you, too, when we're reading this, please don't forget the Sci-Clops Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, and Minds.com pages. Do check those out, and we'd love to get some hits. If you would love to follow, we'd love to have you. And please do give us a little visit over there. And Magic the Gathering got a strategy article, Mardu the Pyromancer in Modern. It comes with, I believe, some videos attached to it. So you Magic the Gathering players might want to check this out, that little strategy article. And over to some big movie news again. DC Comics finally moving into the forefront again. New photos of Joaquin Phoenix filming as the Joker. Now, it hasn't got him in paint, but you can see he's doing some stuff. He's talking to some civilian or something. There's more than one photo, and he does look like the Joker. He has that build, so it's going to be, I'm really excited to see what he does with this character. And again, I've always said I'm not into the DC versus Marvel thing. I don't care. I want them all to succeed, because the more who succeed, the better we all do as fans. And I'm kind of hoping DC does well with this, because I know they just lost Cavill, and they lost Affleck over their Batman and Superman franchises, and that's not a good sign when their biggest actors are bailing. But although Affleck, he's been back and forth for months. We've been talking about this. Is he not? Will he not? But it's too bad. I don't think. I wish DC could get themselves together a little bit better. Marvel seems to just be cranking stuff out left and right, and DC seems to always be struggling. And I'm not beating up on DC by saying this. I really want them to succeed. So if you want to comment in the comments section under this video, feel free. If you want to beat me up on DC, I don't care. But I would like to see them all succeed. So anyway, this new Joaquin Phoenix Joker film looks like it could be really cool. And we'll cross our fingers on that one, too. And Bryan Singer, back over to another movie here. Bryan Singer is in talks to direct Red Sonja. I'm not sure how well that's going to go. Red Sonja has always been a hardcore fan thing. Never seen that really. Even when you go all the way back to when Conan, with the Conan series, Schwarzenegger and Red Sonja. Who was that? Was that Bridget Nielsen, I think? And I don't think that was that big of a movie. I think it did okay, and it was riding on the coattails of the Conan franchise, which Conan, when that came out, if you remember the early 80s, there was a couple movies that really brought sci-fi and fantasy out, and one of them was Conan for fantasy. Sci-fi, I think, was like The Terminator. I could be wrong on the opening build, but there was a brief period in the early 80s where it just exploded into sci-fi and fantasy, and Conan was one of the biggest ones. And on the heels of Conan came like a million of these little fantasy movies, really good stuff. Sword the Sorcerer, and oh gosh, no, I'm having a mind blank. Of course I say that, but I'm just thinking of some other stuff that came out. The Last Dragon, it doesn't matter. Anyway, the Red Sonja movie, I don't remember it being that great. I saw it way many years ago, and it wasn't that fantastic of a movie. So hopefully they'll do a better job with this one. I'm not thinking this is going to be that big of a deal, though. I think it's going to kind of come out and just go under the radar and kind of fade away. That's just my take. Spider-Man fans, for the game, the new Marvel Spider-Man game, there's this little article here talks about the Tombstone villain and explains who it is and some stuff about it. So you're going to want to click on that if you're playing this game. And Spider-Man reviews are incredible. They're absolutely fantastic, at least what I'm seeing. And it looks like a lot of fun, too. The graphics look amazing. And, of course, it's Spider-Man, so, it's always awesome. Jumping over to X-Men news. This is interesting. This is really the movie news, or casting news. The X-Men star Fan Bingbing may have been arrested by Chinese authorities, and it looks like it's something to do with tax evasion. And it also looks like the way she was doing the tax evasion, I read the article really quick, just scanned over it, and it looks like it might have been a trick. The Chinese authorities think she's using a trick where you take massive amounts of money made at once, like in a movie, and hide your income in there somewhere. I don't know how it works, but that's the crux of it. And who knows, because, what's going on over there. But at any rate, she's in some kind of trouble, they think. And it's not even guaranteed that she got arrested. Just be aware that, if you're a fan of Fan Bingbing, you may not see her for a little while. There's a book review on the Predator movie, which is now out and doing okay. The Predator, I think, if I read right, it was $35 million. It needs to break a budget of about $80 million or so. Its opening weekend was okay. Reviews aren't that great. I wasn't that excited. When I saw the first trailer, I was like, oh, this doesn't look that great. And then I saw the second trailer, and I was like, oh, this looks really good. And I think I commented on that on an earlier podcast. And then I saw the third trailer just recently, well, at least what I call the third trailer, and I was like, oh. And I don't know, I just wasn't really doing backflips, and I had actually forgotten it came out. That's how uninspiring it was. So it's out. It's doing okay. And there's a book review if you like the Predator. I love the Predator franchise. I'm not trying to beat up. I do love the Predator. I wish they'd do some cool stuff with it. There's a book out called The Predator: The Art and Making of the Film, and it's going to be kind of cool if you're into that kind of thing, because if you're into the art and the drawings and the designs and all the special effects, do check that out. Make a great coffee table book too. Remember those when you used to actually read books and you'd walk into someone's house and there'd be a coffee table book and it'd pretty much tell you all about that person just in one glance? NASA has unveiled their first images from the TESS, T-E-S-S probe, TESS probe's alien planet hunting quest. It's not of an alien planet, just a bunch of stars. NASA loved to do that. Hey, we got a first image, and you click, oh, what is it? And then it's, well, we were just like focusing the lens, like, thanks, NASA. And you'll see your first real good image of a planet, or, a dot, whatever it is, maybe in about 3 years at the rate they move. Because NASA is just glacial when it comes to stuff like this. It's so annoying. And I can almost see why people get so mad at them all the time, because they're always making these big announcements, and then it turns out to just be like a wet washcloth on whatever it is, cold wet washcloth. Like, oh, we found something, and then, what is it? And then, it's, we found this hydrocarbon that may possibly be in a rock that could possibly maybe otherwise indicate a possibility of life. Oh, God, whatever. So, at any rate, scientists will like the images, and I put it out there because I'm always keeping an eye on exoplanets stuff. I like it, but just want to tell you, I'm kind of cold watering this little link, too. At any rate, Nintendo Dark Switch. Let's jump over to video games for a minute. Nintendo Dark Switch. Good Lord. Nintendo Switch Dark Souls Remastered. Network test begins. That's going to be in 2 days, September 21st, 2018. A little bit more about that if you're interested here. It is, you'll be able to, people worldwide will be able to praise the sun and test out the Undead Parish area of the game. You do need a Nintendo Switch Online subscription, okay? And the schedule is, it's going to be 3 periods in Japan, 3 in the Americas, and 3 in Europe. Click on the link for the info. I'm not going to go into it all here, but it tells you how to get involved and when you can get involved. PlayStation Classic is coming out, and that's going to feature 20 preloaded games for $99. Great deal. Launches December 3rd, just in time for Christmas 2018, and I think that's fantastic. You got a gaming platform and 20 games. That'll keep you busy for a week. PS Plus, but PlayStation Plus October 2018 games lineup may have been leaked earlier, so if you're looking for that, do check that out. and see if you maybe you can get a rumor there. That's a rumor, by the way. Maybe you can check that rumor and see if it's true. Destiny 2 Forsaken, that was reviewed over, I think it was IGN. Yeah, it was. IGN has reviewed Destiny 2 Forsaken for you Destiny 2 fans. And for you Bioshock fans. Apparently, using that cold water analogy again, it looks like Ken Levine has actually had to come out and apologize for the Bioshock's final boss battle, which looks like it was a big cold water splash on everybody at the end of the game. It was supposed to be a big deal, and apparently fans are pretty upset over it. So he actually had to make a public apology. Click on that link to find out more. Steam Games always has great sales. Steam and GOG, by the way, GOG, both those companies have great games. And Steam has up to 65% off games in their midweek sale. And GOG has a sale with up to 80% off their titles. Not all of them, just, that some of them are up to 80 and some of them are 65. And others, 40, 30. But it's still a good deal. You're still getting some money off. So do check it out. And just on a side note, if you're ever looking for really good gaming deals, we just missed one, unfortunately. It was the Labor Day for United States. There's always really good sales, retail and gaming. But another one that's coming up, you're going to want to keep an eye out for it, put it on your calendars to alert you on your smartphones, is the Thanksgiving sale, Black Friday. And that's going to be incredible. You'll see ridiculous sales going on then. And also, right after Christmas is another big sale. And so keep an eye on that too. I'll try to put notes up for that as we get closer and closer. Android 17 is the next Dragon Ball Fighter Z DLC character, if you're interested in checking out details on that. And for the comic fans, or the book fans, comic book, or a graphic novel, Batman Damned #1 review is up. Batman Damned. And I'm not sure how long that runs, that whole series, but at least the #1 is up. You can get an idea of where it's going. And for you who are thinking about doing the Disney streaming service, this is interesting. And I think this is going to be kind of a, I don't know, I want to say make or break, but this is going to tell you a lot about how Disney plans on going with this thing. Loki, Scarlet Witch, and more are getting their own shows on the Disney streaming service. So is it going to be the same people? Is it going to be, the same stars? I doubt it, but we'll see. I think what they're trying to do is like Netflix. With, like, right now I'm watching Iron Fist, and by the way, and Luke Cage and all the the new seasons coming up. Daredevil's right behind it. All the Defenders series. And really quick on a side note, Iron Fist season 2 is excellent. I was one of the biggest complainers about season 1. It was awful. Danny Rand was a big crybaby. The Iron Fist, he was like just always whining and carrying on, like, oh God, don't let me have to watch this anymore. And I did make it through to the end, and it was like, okay, whatever. And I said, I'm never going to watch this again. And I started getting text messages from my buddies, and they were like, hey, this season 2 isn't too bad. And then it got better. And I said, okay, I'll check it out. Started watching and I'm hooked. I'm all the way up to episode 5, and it's really good. And it's just like Marvel listened to all the fans about season 1 Iron Fist and all their complaints and said, okay, we'll fix it. And they did. And season 2 has got none of the problems season 1 did. So if you've been soured on Iron Fist, do go back and check out season 2. I can't promise you, but I can say with a lot of, more certain than not, you'll probably be happy with this season 2 and you'll enjoy the series again. But over to Disney streaming, let's watch what happens with this Loki and Scarlet Witch and all these other little shows they're going to do. Let's see how it comes out. Victor Crowley coming back for more movies. Very exciting. I knew he would. I was surprised that they haven't done this faster. The writer said he only wanted to do a trilogy, and he decided later to do more movies because it's gotten such a popular underground movement going on Victor Crowley. And so let's see what happens with that. That'll be an exciting thing to go to. You'll watch him, murder people in the swamp all day. Marvel Comics, December 2018 solicitations are out. So if you want to check and see which way they're going with their comics there. And last thing but not least is I Love Lovecraft, and here's the Call of Cthulhu video game review. Check out the reviewer said he had mixed feelings about the whole thing, but it looks like long story short, he's really enjoying it. And I love anything Lovecraftian that's made halfway decent. So do click on that. It looks like a good game to download and play, or a good game to buy. that's going to be it for now, and we'll talk to you very soon. Have a great day, and go read some sci-fi, fantasy, and horror. See ya.